All right, welcome back to another video. And we left off getting the fuel tank, sending unit, all that good stuff on power steering. I went ahead and hooked up my power steering lines. So not everything's tight yet, but got everything in where it needs to be. So like I had mentioned, this tank vent line that ran up to the charcoal canister originally we were going to use was clogged. I know it's going to be pretty bad, and I'm not going to sit and waste a ton of time trying to remove it, clean it out, blah, blah, blah. Already tried to blow it out with compressed air. Was not working. Regardless, I bought this check ball tank vent. So I think what we're going to do is essentially run our line from the tank vent, which comes off the side of the tank, and we will run it up through here and make a little mount for this guy up in here. And then that keeps it higher than your filler neck. So that's what you need to do. You need to be the same level or higher than your filler neck. That way, you know, God forbid you ever roll over, you know, and so stuff doesn't, just the way all that science works. Anyway, I got some more fuel lines since I didn't think I'd need that much, because I thought I was just going to use that factory vent line and need a little bit up front, but had to stop to get some more. So I'm going to run this thing, make a little mount tab, and then we'll show you guys what I got with the finished product. And there she blows. Got her mounted up there on a little bracket. Now we'll run our line through there real quick, and we'll be set and ready to move forward on some more important stuff, which, I mean, I guess is kind of important, but anyway, go ahead and finish this thing up and move on. All right, just ran it around. I'll get some stuff up here and tie this down later. There you can see it, got it running right up against the edge of the tank, all the way up around through there. And obviously you can see it coming up from down there. And there she is, all tucked up in there. I mean, I could have made that bracket prettier, but at the end of the day, it's not like this is some crazy build, just needs to be functional. So I'm pretty happy with that, you know, kind of hidden up there. Just see a little bit of a vent hose there. So I'm happy with that. So there we go. Now we can move on to the next. So hopefully we'll be back up here in the engine bay and starting on some wiring. This is all the time I've got today. So I'm gonna go ahead and head in, and hopefully we'll get on to tightening up the power steering brackets for good, the power steering lines for good, sift through a couple more of these wires and see what kind of vacuum lines and hoses I'll need. And then we'll get to painting that radiator, get the shroud cleaned up, get all that stuff in, get the fan in it, and figure out what belts I need. So anyway, next clip, we should be starting on all that stuff. All right, what's up? Been a while since the last clip I filmed on the Trans Am, just because of some of the traveling we've done with that 73 Brewster Green Trans Am for Kyle, and going to the pure stock drags, and amongst up doing other things, getting the SRT4 done for Dad, since we've been thrashing on it. Kind of put this car aside, although I have done a little bit I haven't filmed, so I'll pick up on that after this clip. I'm not going to bore you guys with a bunch of talking, so real quick, we're up here at the shop. I got the scoop up here, and we got a crack there, and this corner got busted off. But luckily I have everything, so we're going to sand this, use some panel bond, and then we're going to open up the radiator and get it painted as well. All right, guys, moved it from the lift because we had to pull the vet back in, and looked like it turned out pretty good. Got that nice satin finish. Looks just like a stock one, except for that right there. So there we go. We'll get this thing, well, I don't think I addressed this yet, but we opened it up, and I ordered one for a manual because obviously we're 4-speed swapping the thing. And it got shipped as an automatic, but not a big deal. Not like I have to worry about anything, just leave them there. And if I ever decide to make that car original and automatic, got the radiator for it. So, oh well. It happens, not a big deal. And we finished up the scoop as well. Kind of just did this radiator and the scoop intermittently while I was waiting on going back and forth between working on stuff here at the shop. But got the bad corner that was completely broke off, panel bonded in. So now this is all dry. We'll be ready to sand this down, smooth it out. This one turned out a little smoother. There still is a little hairline crack through here, but it's not all the way through, so I didn't want to get crazy on it. But this was actually somehow popped out and it was uneven. I ended up getting it pried back around, got it popped back in place. But it's super strong now. Got it glued from both sides, and the steel pedestal, the steel part of the scoop base itself, the edge of it was open where this had busted off, so I was able to put panel bond on the steel portion and on the top and bottom. So this thing is rock solid again, super even, follows the contour it's supposed to still, fit right back in place. So this thing's ready to pretty much smooth those out, clean it up, probably re-glue this seal or get a new one. The seal's actually not in bad shape considering. But anyway, so that's ready now. Radiator's ready. So as of right now, I don't know what, I think I'm gonna put this stuff first. And I've been doing a little bit on the exhaust. So I'll go ahead, and now that this stuff's done, we'll jump on to getting a custom exhaust made for it. So I'll show you guys what I got and go from there. So let's head back to the home garage and get going on the exhaust. Okay, we're back here at the garage and we're gonna get going on the exhaust. So I'm gonna catch you guys up just a little bit. I know in some previous clips we were going over the engine bay wiring, which was quite a while ago. And I kind of came to a stop on it. But I have a carburetor ready and a crap ton of gaskets to make sure I get the right base gasket for this carburetor. I got the radiator rubbers ready, fan shrouds over there, fixed the scoop, which that's not necessary right now. You know, we got the radiator done. A few more wires to sort, but we are very close to getting some battery cables for this thing and getting those, getting a battery for it, hooking that crap up, firing it up. I know I said I wanted to fire it in the next video, but it's just not going to be ready. So we'll finish this out with getting the exhaust all hooked up, so that way in the next video we can finish sorting out this wiring, get the carburetor on it, and go from there and get it fired up in the next video. So sorry about that, but anyway, let's see what we got. So we got a pipe system. And here's the stainless down tubes. Spill a little gear oil on it. Anyway, so we got those all in and tight and got my reducers loosely mounted in right now. Steps it back down to 2 1/4, which is what the rest of the old exhaust is. And I didn't want to weld to this because I want to be able to hook up and tie into the original tailpipes. But for now, that's what I'm gonna do because it's cheap. But I want to retain these because in the future, when I can afford a pipes kit, we'll get the rest of the pipes kit, but that's like an extra $900 to $1,000 and not in the budget right now. So anyway, we are going to position these, tighten the clamps where I need them, and we're gonna unbox the mufflers that I got, which are right here. So let's see if we can take a quick look here. Sorry for rambling, just want to get you guys semi caught up here. And these are just a basic 2 1/4 Summit 2 chambers. And my dad runs these on the dually. If you guys have watched previous videos, you've heard it before. Sounds killer. I've seen some other guys use these and they sound really good, and they're only $46 a piece. Can't beat that. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna get under here, position this stuff, and get moving on getting this exhaust going. It's next day, and I'm mocking up the muffler. Got the ends cleaned up, ready to weld. And this hanger back here is bad on this side, so I will be making, it's a stabilizer bar, but it's tucked up in there. So I'm going to use the base from it and kind of make my own hanger. The other side's is good. So I got this thing kind of sitting close to where I want it. So what I'm going to do is bring this over where I need it, get those two sandwiched together, and tack them in place. That way I can kind of measure exactly what I'll need from my old piece to connect these two, and we'll do the same on the other side. So probably set up a little time lapse here in just a minute, and that way you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, ended up having to cut it short yesterday. And so right now, we got this pipe cleaned up at the end. As you can tell, we got it trimmed way down because you can see how long by the other pipe it used to be. So this one's just about ready. Got some minor trimming left, and we'll get this thing fitted up. Should be able to weld it onto our adapter and then use a clamp back here at the muffler. And we should be good to go. And then we'll follow through, do the same thing on the passenger side. And then there's one hanger I got to fix out back, and I'm not sure if I'll get to that today. Hopefully I do, so that way I can get this video out within the next day or two. Anyway, so I'm going to get on, finish this, and we'll check back in when we got it all in place. So the time lapse there of me fitting this thing ended very abruptly because I had a welding ember go flying into my ear hole, which was, don't know how I accomplished that, but we're good. Anyway, went ahead and trimmed the passenger side up and got it tack welded in. Gonna run a couple clamps back there at the mufflers, and then I'll weld onto these adapters and everything will be removable. Now, it's hard to see in the video, but the back end's sitting a little bit lower on this side, and that is because this hanger that is up in there is blown out. So I need a hanger, so I'll probably cut that old one out, use the base from it, weld a new hanger to it, and we should be good. So as of right now, both pipes are fitted where I want them. Tucked up pretty nice, mufflers are even, and they'll be a little bit more even as I spin these things and get them all tacked in. But honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, for cobbling together an old exhaust with new mufflers and new downpipe sections, it's really not too bad. Coming out pretty good. So anyway, we'll put you guys on a time lapse and we'll go ahead and go through and finish weld this thing. That way all I have to do is pick up a couple clamps and that hanger, and this exhaust will be finished. I'm not sure if I'll include that in the video since it's really not all that important throwing a hanger on there. That way we can move on to getting this thing fired up for the next video. So anyway, let's finish weld this thing. Okay, laying down here on the creeper, we got it pretty much finished up for now. So it's nothing very impressive by any stretch of the imagination, but it's all welded up on each tail section there. Like I said, we're going to use clamps here, and we welded it there and then got our clamps right here. That way it'll be removable. That way if we want to do so, we can do so. So now we got our full exhaust ready to go. Like I said, I got to run to the parts store, pick up a couple 2 1/4 inch clamps, and then buy a hanger and fix that hanger that's up there. But other than that, we got ourselves an exhaust, and that's why it's not perfectly even. This side will go up a little bit, which I'm not too worried about anyway, even if it's not perfect. But it'll go up a little bit. So as you can very well tell, it'll go up quite a bit. Actually, mainly at the back, really. But overall, turned out pretty good, pretty level. It's actually a lot better than what I thought now that I'm looking at it. For cobbling crap together, I'll take it. So as you can very well tell, I got the parking brake cables all looped up under here. Those will be ready to swap out here soon, but I really want to get these clamps on the exhaust put on, get the hanger put on. That way we can get this thing fired up. So I think I got my base gaskets ready. Just got to sift through a little bit more wiring. We'll go ahead, get the radiator shroud in it, and get some belts for this thing as well. And then that'll set us up for getting it fired up. But that being said, I think I'm going to end the video off here since we got the exhaust all done. And here is the freshly rebuilt Quadrajet. So, and like I said, those are some mid-body gaskets to replace, but this one's already been done. But we got some base gaskets in here, and pretty sure I got the right one to go with that carb. And I think there's just subtle differences in Quadrajets. That's why I want to be 100% sure before we bolt the thing down. But now we are ready to sift through the final few wires, and we should be ready to put the oil in the engine, change the filter, and should be ready to fire this thing up. Alright, I know in a previous clip I said I wasn't going to finish this, but let me get my light here. As you can see in the time lapse, went ahead and got the clamps done right there on the front of the mufflers, and I was able to salvage the original hanger, believe it or not. I drilled this out and the rubber had ripped, so I used a fender washer and ran a through bolt and got the hanger bolted back up. I actually took it down from the factory mount right there so I could have room to drill this and work. As you can see, I think in the time lapse you could tell what I was doing, I'm not sure. But anyway, got a through bolt bolted. You can kind of see the new washer there and bolt. Using what I got until I can get the nice pipe system. So, and we're clearing the tire. So got just enough room. Cannot complain. So, that being said, the exhaust is now finished. So, pretty stoked. Let me grab my light real quick and we'll do a little outro here. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to finish it in this video, but decided to go ahead and do so. So anyway, there's the pipe section. And like I mentioned, I want to be able to run the full pipe system so that way we can disconnect right there, get rid of all the old stuff, and be able to drop that new pipe system in when that time comes. But honestly, for throwing together exhaust out of used scrap stuff, this turned out pretty good. with the help of those new Summit mufflers and that front pipes down tubes. So I'm honestly kind of happy with it. It's actually kind of cool. Came out pretty even too. I think that this passenger muffler is a little bit crooked, but honestly, like, I'm not gonna complain one bit. So now our tips are sticking down like they should, or at least close to it anyway. I think they're pretty even side for side. I think this side over here might be sticking down just a touch more, but I'll still take it. Yeah, this side over here is tucked up just a hair more. Not much though. Cannot complain. So I think you can see but I don't know, tucked up there pretty nice. So anyway, that'll do it for the exhaust system on this thing. So now we can finally move on to finishing up engine bay wiring in the next video. And obviously when I start the next video off, we'll go over more of what I'm going to get into for that. And should be ready to get this carburetor bolted on, hook up the wiring, put the plug wires in it, check timing, and get this thing fired up. So I know, like I said, I mentioned I was going to do it in this video, but I kind of was going to run it like open manifold or at least open downpipe, and I really want to be able to hear the engine when we fire this thing for the first time. So figured we'd take a video and get this exhaust knocked out. Kind of glad I did. Just one more thing that's done, so that way we can get this thing fired up in the next video and then move on to all the finishing touches, such as carpet, cleaning the seats, putting them back in it, and getting this thing a complete car again, and then eventually going through and buffing it and doing all the detail work. So anyway, I'm going to quit blabbering on. I hope you guys enjoyed a little exhaust 101 here, making use of the junk you have laying around or what's on the car. And sometimes with a pretty cheap, budget, you can make something work. And I didn't necessarily need those pipes, front sections. Those were a little pricey, $150. But at the end of the day, it sets me up for success in the future with the exhaust I want to run. But anyway, we'll call it there. And remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this conglomerate of junk that I just whipped up. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully getting this thing fired up and actually hearing what this exhaust sounds like.